So there I was, a much smaller, scrawnier version of who I am today. I was sitting on the couch in our living room waiting for my parents to come home. I'd written a letter as backup, as I had a feeling that when it came time to say those words, Mom, Dad, I'm gay, the words may not want to come out. I heard the truck coming through the gravel in the driveway and my heart dropped. I was terrified of how they may react, and I immediately felt sick to my stomach. This was a big moment for me that could change the meaning of the word family forever. So my dad walks in. He is a 6'8", 250-pound man. On top of that, he typically wears these cowboy boots and a cowboy hat that make him easily 7 feet tall. As they walked in, I asked them to sit down and told them there was something I needed to talk to them about. I'd then experienced something I had never experienced before in my life that I can only describe as speech paralysis. My parents were sitting there looking at me, waiting for words that just weren't coming. After sitting in silence for what seemed like an eternity, I remembered, the letter. I went over to my father, shaking, and I handed him this letter. He opened it and began to read. Side note, to anyone that has ever come out to their parents or knows someone that has, you may be able to vouch for me on this, but when it comes to a parent's reaction in this situation, you have on one hand the I love you and this doesn't change anything reaction, and on the other hand you have everything else. There isn't a whole lot of gray area. Well, unfortunately for me that night, my parents chose the everything else hand. They immediately started discussing every stereotype that has ever been placed on the LGBTQ community. My mom was worried about how promiscuous the gay community is and was worried about my health and told me that I was going to die of AIDS. She then expressed her concerns of how people were going to react throughout the community and in public and in church. My dad was concerned about how the guys were going to react in the locker room, and he told me I would never be able to find success professionally, as this is something that would follow me forever. As my parents started to say these extremely hurtful things, I began to slump down more and more, and my eyes started to tear up. But then my father said the one phrase that has stuck with me since that night. He said, I wonder how long it will take to get past the feeling of disappointment as a parent. After my father said those words, I felt an immediate fire start. I had a backpack to my car, so I was feeling kind of brave. I said, how dare you? I have been everything you have ever wanted me to be for as long as I can remember. This doesn't change any of that. I'm still the son that you raised, but now I'm a more honest version of that person than I was 10 minutes ago. I then grabbed my keys and spouted off, I'll be back tomorrow, as I slammed the door shut behind me. Well, needless to say, it probably could have gone better. But the reason that I share this story is not to tell you that my parents are terrible people, because they're not. The reason that I share is because this is a process that every member of the LGBTQ community has to go through on a daily basis. And sure, the stories and reactions may differ, but the coming out doesn't stop there. We come out to our families, our friends, our coworkers, to the disappointed girl at the supermarket. It doesn't stop, and it's a process that greatly shapes our community. Since 2007, my relationship with my parents is mended, and I couldn't ask for a more supportive family. But the stereotypes that they mentioned that evening are still placed on our community today, and that's why I started the Pride ERG in Las Vegas. The Pride ERG, at the beginning of the year, we reached out to the Oklahoma City Pride ERG and began socializing the idea of creating a group in Vegas. They welcomed us with open arms and really paved the path for us to begin our journey with such strong results. The Pride ERG has experienced an overwhelming amount of support right off. We are now an ERG of 35 active members. As we discussed yesterday, the 4 pillars to the CSAA Insurance Group Diversity Strategy are workforce, workplace, community and marketplace, and members. In the short few months that the ERG has been established, we've been able to focus on each of these 4 key pillars, as well as set goals to continue leveraging diversity and inclusion. We had our first kickoff event to celebrate National LGBTQ History Month during the last week of June. During this event, we provided on-site HIV testing and provided these rainbow-colored ribbons for employees to wear to show their support for our community. We also had a table with different colored hearts that employees could write on and decorate to show their support and commemorate the victims of the tragic event that occurred in Orlando earlier that month. It was amazing how touched so many people at our office felt just because we did something. I'm confident that the work we're doing on a local level will continue to provide employees with resources that they would not have otherwise, and will continue to have a lasting impression on the way that we're serving our members. I love sending my parents pictures, like the one on the screen, to show them that success comes in many forms. It has many shapes, sizes, colors, and as the Pride ERG has shown me, sometimes there's even success in rainbows. Thank you.